Hey Gundam Maniacs, welcome to another episode of Gundam Explained. In this video, I want to give you some facts about Gundam F91 because it's really awesome. And while most people do agree that it's awesome, it doesn't get the love you normally see from all things you see or the fun nostalgia from like older AUs. And if you haven't, please subscribe and give this video a like if you think it's something you're interested in. And check the links in the description for the Discord, Patreon, and stuff like that. But let's get started. So Gundam F91 is a Mobile Suit Gundam movie that came out in 1991. It's actually set in the Universal Century timeline, even though it doesn't really directly connect with anything from the previous Universal Century timeline. It takes place in UC 123, so that's quite a while after the last UC show, or story, which would be Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway being in around 105, and before that, Char's counterattack, Unicorn. So we've gotten so far removed from the Zeon style conflict that we're now in something else completely. What we're going against is Cosmo Babylonia. Very interesting. Babylonia is referring to Babylonia, the ancient civilization. There's even a Sumerian relief behind one of the main characters when they're in Cosmo Babylonia. It's one of the leaders of Cosmo Babylonia. He's talking. You see it in the background. It's the Sumerian carrying the handbag. It has some interesting ancient history connotations. You know, originally F91 was going to be a TV show and ended up turning out to be a movie. And while it's a great movie, you could tell that it would have lended itself better as a TV show because of the character development. You start to grow to like the characters in the movie, but they just don't get enough time with each other. And the main connecting tissue with Gundam F91 is the fact that a Gundam exists in it. V-fin and all. It's very interesting because in the F91 timeline, they don't really talk about new types, but you can tell that that is there, that potential is there. In fact, and it talked about a little later on, I guess, in a way hinted at with the main bad guy who we'll get to here shortly in his mobile armor. But a unique thing about the F91 is it is a smaller mobile suit. The technology was a bit different by this time. They were able to create the Minovsky engines. Yeah, and looking it up here, it actually used a Minovsky ultra-compact fusion reactor. So that's what made them appear smaller. And in fact, other mobile suits tended to go that direction, even as far as in Victory Gundam. Even going further with G-Savior, there's some design elements shared from F91 through G-Savior. So it has a biocomputer, which we've heard about before, where it's a computer system within a mobile suit that kind of allows the pilot, more control over it. The machine itself can kind of tap into the brain of the pilot. It's not as far as like the psycho frames or anything like that, but this was creating something for someone just as an old type, not knowing anything about new type. So something else it's known for, and that's with the look of the F91, how it has these binder-looking things on the back, but they flip out and they're variable speed beam rifle. The greatest weapon employed by the Gundam F91, they are a pair of high-output large beam rifles mounted on the suit's backpack and powered directly by its reactor. Also known as VSBRs, they can fire either low-speed beams with high destructive power or high-speed beams with high penetrating power, sufficient to destroy 2 MS with one shot or pierce a beam shield. Because remember, another interesting fact about this point in the UC timeline is the use of beam shields. You know, beam technology has been a lot more refined. Instead of carrying shields with some sort of metal composite on it, there's actually beam shields. The 2 VSBR typically sight under the shoulder when deployed, but can also be used to attack an enemy at the back while in storage position. They can also be employed for AMBAC purposes when not in use. The weapon was first experimentally developed for the Gundam F90 VSBR type. You know, so looking at the F91, we can see on the back what looks like it could be binders for rockets or something is actually the VSBRs. And you can get a back look there where it looks like it's, part of that reactor in the back, which is a very interesting looking thruster system from what we're used to. And then, those VSBRs kind of roll out in the front. But the pilot of the F91 is Seabook Arno. Very interesting name. That goes with a lot of what we see in UC Gundam, or maybe all of Gundam. But just a really cool character. Again, because it's a movie, we don't get to dive too deep into him, but the relationships with the characters around him kind of help us explore him. But the other main character is Cicely Fairchild, or Bera Rona. Now, there is this kind of Star Wars-esque relatable story with family members on opposite sides. That's something that kind of happens a lot. It's kind of a tropey story that we'll see in Gundam. But the reason I make the comparison to Star Wars is because even down to the music, F91 sounds a lot like Star Wars. So Sicily pilots the XM07 Vignagina. Very interesting name. That's a very cool looking suit in my opinion. I built the RE100, loved it. I think it's a really cool suit. Now, Butch Concern is the manufacturer and operated by Crossbone Vanguard, later used by the Earth Federation forces. It's very interesting because the Crossbone Vanguard is like the military force that Cosmo Babylonia is using to take over colonies within this F91 timeline. So the Federation deploys the F91 to help out. Cosmo Babylonia has the Crossbone Vanguard. But these two characters we just talked about, Seabrook and Cicely Fairchild, they actually are in future Gundam stories that are in the UC timeline of Crossbone. You might have heard of Crossbone. And we see those Gundams a lot. They have the pirate theme or the pirate look to them, and they're very cool. But there is a story that continues past F91 with those two characters as part of the Crossbone Vanguard, but just not for Cosmo Babylonia. Yeah, we can even see in here the purpose for the Crossbone Vanguard in UC 0123 Private Military Organization, but by UC 0133 Space Pirate Organization. That's pretty cool. So then we learn about the Rona family, and Cicely Fairchild is apparently part of that family. And then we meet another individual that, again, reminds us of Star Wars. This is the Iron Mask, part of the Rona family, part of Cosmo Babylonia. This is someone that could potentially be a new type or cyber new type. He pilots the XMA-01 Rafflesia. There's a way to pronounce it, I'm sure. But it's pretty neat because this is like a mobile armor, so it has like a callback of like end fight scenes of the original Mobile Suit Gundam, or some of the follow-ups. It's very interesting looking mobile armor. It has these like tendrils in it. Yeah, and then the tendril I'm talking about is the tentacle rod. The XMA-01 Rafflesia's most unique weapon is its tentacle rods, of which it is equipped with a total of 125, 25 per each pedal binder. These tentacle rods are highly flexible weapons similar to their namesake appendage. The tip of each tentacle rod mounts a single superheated chainsaw tip, a melee combat weapon that combines the superheated blade technology from the mobile suits used by the Principality of Zeon during the One-Year War with the concept of a revolving chain blade. While not as effective as a beam saber, the superheated chainsaw drains less energy and makes up for its small shortcoming by weight of numbers and how the tentacles can be used to ensnare mobile suits, rendering them helpless. Each tip also contains a small beam gun that, while weaker than the guns mounted on the body, allows the Rafflesia to perform an all-range attack. Because of the number and complexity of the Rafflesia's tentacle rods, they can only be controlled through the Neo Psychomu system, which can be utilized by cyber new type. So, again, with this Iron Mask being a cyber new type in the Neo Psychomu system, very interesting name. I guess this is really the first time I've come across seeing Neo Psychomu. There doesn't seem to be a link to that. All right, and then while it wasn't hyperlinked, maybe I should add it. I got this from the Psychomu system, or Psychomu system, wiki page. A new type of machine control system installed in the mobile armor Rafflesia. It is based on the technology that Kurosa Rona developed before he joined the Crossbone Vanguard. Numerous fiber optics wires are connected to the neuroreceptors within Iron Mask's helmet, allowing him to operate the Rafflesia via thought alone. That's very cool. And here's actually a pretty cool shot showing the Iron Mask sitting in the Rafflesia and all those little fibers that it connects to in his mind. It's very cool that he's controlling it by thought. This is like, maybe, and they don't dive into the new type abilities, but this is like cyber new type to the extreme. Anyway, and there you have it, just some quick facts about F91, because it is a great movie. Should have been a show, could have had sequels. If they come out with the Crossbone Vanguard anime based on the manga, then we'll definitely get a sequel, because the characters are very cool, and I'd like to explore some of that cyber new type stuff that was going on. I thought that was very interesting. Another awesome thing about F91 is while a lot of the Gundam shows are showing off a disaster element when it comes to the use of mobile suits, F91 captured it amazingly. At the beginning of F91, you need to check it out when the disaster strikes, where the mobile suits are attacking around civilians. It's very cool stuff. Anyway, any other cool facts about F91 you want to share? I think this is a really good show, and I'm gonna dive deep into a video review of it soon. But anyway, thanks for watching. We'll talk later.